The desert does not destroy quickly. It waits. It waits for people to leave, for water to vanish, for trade routes to change, for mines to run dry, and for cities to fall silent. Then, grain by grain, it begins to take everything back. Houses fill with sand. Ships rust where oceans used to be. Temples vanish behind cliffs. Entire towns become memories hiding under heat, wind, and silence. Today, we're counting down the top 9 forgotten places hidden in the desert. And stay until number 1, because the final place was carved into stone, hidden for centuries, and rediscovered through a narrow crack in the rock. Before we begin, tell us in the comments which forgotten desert place you would actually dare to visit. Number 9. Al Mada'in, United Arab Emirates. Just an hour from the shining towers of Dubai, there is a village being swallowed alive by sand. Picture 2 neat rows of small houses standing under a burning desert sky. Their walls are painted in faded blues, greens, and yellows. The doors are open, but no one is inside. Instead, golden dunes pour through the windows, climb over the floors, and fill entire rooms like water frozen in place. At the end of the village, a small mosque still stands. Its minaret rises from the sand like a warning. Everything looks normal from far away until you realize the desert is already inside the homes. Al Mada'in was built in the 1970s as a small settlement in the United Arab Emirates. It was meant to provide permanent housing in a harsh desert region, but the village was abandoned, and the exact reason is still debated. The practical explanation is simple. Heat, sandstorms, and isolation made life there too hard. But the local stories are darker. Some say the village was haunted by jinn and that something unseen forced them out. What makes Al Mada'in so unsettling is how complete the abandonment feels. The houses are not destroyed. They are not ancient ruins. They look recent enough to imagine families living there until the sand turned the rooms into dunes. Al Mada'in is powerful because it sits near one of the most modern cities on Earth. Dubai is glass, steel, and human control. Al Mada'in is the opposite. What happens when that control disappears and nature takes over? But Al Mada'in is only a small village. The next place was once rich enough to build a European town in the middle of one of the harshest deserts on Earth, Kolmanskop, Namibia. Number 8. Kolmanskop. A town born from diamonds, filled with wealth, and eventually abandoned to the relentless sand. Pastel houses stand beneath a pale blue sky. Inside, dunes rise across wooden floors, filling bedrooms, hallways, and ballrooms. It looks like a dream, but a sad one, a wealthy town being buried room by room. Kolmanskop began in the early 1900s after diamonds were discovered in the area. It quickly became a rich mining settlement with grand homes, a hospital, and even a ballroom in the middle of the desert. For a while, it looked unstoppable. But the wealth did not last. Richer diamond deposits were discovered elsewhere, and Kolmanskop began to decline. By the mid-20th century, the miners left, and the town was abandoned to the elements. Kolmanskop tells the story of boom towns everywhere. People arrive for wealth, build fast, and dream big. Then the resource fades, and the desert waits for silence. It doesn't care about gold or ambition. But Kolmanskop still looks like a town. The next place is even stranger because it contains ships stranded in a desert where a sea used to exist. The Aral Sea ship graveyard in Uzbekistan. Number 7. Ships are supposed to die in water, but here they are rusting in a flat wasteland. Shadows falling across dry ground where waves once moved. There is no shoreline nearby, no harbor, no sound of water, just ships marooned in sand. The Aral Sea was once one of the largest lakes in the world. It supported fishing towns, ports, and entire communities. But in the 1960s, Soviet irrigation projects diverted the rivers that fed it, sending water toward cotton fields instead. The sea began to shrink at a catastrophic rate. Ports became stranded. Fishing fleets were left behind. What had once been water became desert, now often called the Aral Desert. The Aral Sea lost most of its volume within decades. That means some communities did not watch a slow natural change over thousands of years. They watched their sea disappear in a single lifetime. For the people who lived there, this was not just an environmental story. It was the collapse of an entire way of life. Fishermen lost their work. Towns lost their purpose. Dust storms carried toxic salt and chemicals across the region. The ship graveyard became a symbol of what happens when human ambition ignores natural limits. But the Aral Sea was destroyed by water being taken away. The next forgotten place was abandoned in a desert so hostile that even the ground seems poisonous. From a vanished sea in Central Asia, we travel to Ethiopia's Dallol Depression, where an abandoned settlement sits inside one of the most extreme landscapes on Earth. Number 6. Dallol, Ethiopia. Dallol is not just forgotten in the desert, it is abandoned inside a landscape that looks too hostile for Earth. The ground glows in impossible colors: yellow, green, orange, white, and rust red. Steam rises from vents, acid pools bubble under the sun, salt formations spread like frozen coral. The air smells of sulfur, and the heat presses down like a physical weight. Among this alien scenery are traces of a human settlement and old mining activity, slowly being consumed by the Dallol Depression. Dallol sits in northeastern Ethiopia, in one of the hottest inhabited regions on Earth. In the early 20th century, people came here for salt and potash mining. But the settlement never became a true city. It existed because minerals existed. Once mining declined, people left. And what remained was swallowed by heat, salt, acid, and one of the strangest geological environments on the planet. Some pools in the Dallol area are extremely acidic and highly salty. The colors may look beautiful, but the chemistry can be dangerous. This is one of those rare places where beauty feels like a warning sign. For the Afar people, this region is not just scenery. It is a place of salt routes, survival, and hard knowledge passed through generations. Outsiders see an alien landscape. Local communities understand it as part of life in one of Earth's most extreme environments. Dallol reminds us that humans can enter harsh places for resources, but geology always has the final word. But Dallol was a harsh mining outpost. The next place was once a full desert community, and according to legend, everyone vanished in a single night. From Ethiopia's chemical desert, we travel to India's Thar Desert, where an abandoned village still carries the weight of a curse. Number 5. Kuldhara, India. Kuldhara is not famous because it collapsed. It is famous because, according to legend, an entire village left overnight and never came back. In the Thar Desert of Rajasthan, rows of stone houses stand roofless under the sun. Narrow lanes cut through the ruins. Walls still outline courtyards, rooms, and doorways. But there are no voices, no cooking fires, no footsteps, only wind moving through empty stone. The village feels less destroyed than paused, as if life stopped and never resumed. Kuldhara was once home to the Palawal Brahmin community. It is believed to have been abandoned around the early 19th century. The exact reason remains debated. Historians point to drought, taxation, water problems, or migration. Local legend tells a more dramatic story. According to the legend, a powerful local official wanted to force marriage with a village leader's daughter and threatened the community. Rather than submit, the entire population left in one night and cursed the village so no one could ever settle there again. Whether the curse is real or not, Kuldhara has remained abandoned for around 2 centuries. Attempts to resettle the area never created a lasting community. Kuldhara matters because it is not just a ruin. It is a story of resistance, fear, dignity, and collective decision. Imagine an entire community choosing exile over surrender. Imagine families gathering what they could carry, leaving homes behind, and walking into the desert darkness. That is why the village feels haunted, even to people who do not believe in ghosts. But Kuldhara was abandoned by people who walked away. The next forgotten city was swallowed not by a curse, but by shifting trade, war, and the slow death of the Silk Road. From Rajasthan's cursed village, we traveled to the deserts of northwestern China, where ancient Silk Road cities still stand in ruins. Number 4. Jiaohe and Gaochang, China. Deep in the desert of northwestern China, two ancient cities still stand as reminders of a world that once connected east and west. Rammed earth walls rise from dry ground, sun-baked and crumbling. Streets, temples, courtyards, and city gates are still visible. The desert light is harsh, the wind is dry, and the ruins look like they were carved from the same earth that is now reclaiming them. Jiaohe sits dramatically on a narrow plateau between river valleys. Gaochang spreads wider, with the remains of walls, buildings, and sacred spaces scattered across the desert. Jiaohe and Gaochang were important cities along the ancient Silk Road. They were places of trade, religion, culture, and movement. Merchants, monks, travelers, and armies passed through these desert routes, carrying silk, spices, ideas, languages, and beliefs. For centuries, these cities thrived because the Silk Road mattered. But trade routes shifted. Conflicts changed the region, water became harder to manage, and eventually, the cities were abandoned. Jiaohe is especially unusual because it was built on a natural plateau that acted like a fortress. Instead of surrounding the city with massive walls on every side, the cliffs themselves helped protect it. These ruins remind us that globalization is not new. Long before airplanes, container ships, and the internet, desert cities like these connected civilizations across continents. But connection is fragile. When the roads change, cities that once felt central can become silent almost overnight in historical terms. But the Silk Road ruins were never completely mythical. The next place was considered by many to be a legend, until satellites helped find it beneath the desert. From China's ancient trade cities, we travel to Oman, where the so-called Atlantis of the sands was hidden for more than 1,000 years. Number 3. Ubar, Oman. For centuries, people spoke of a lost city swallowed by the sands of Arabia. Many thought it was only a legend. The empty quarter stretches across the Arabian Peninsula like an ocean of sand. Dunes rise and fall under a blazing sky. In this vast emptiness, ruins appear near a collapsed sinkhole, as if the ground itself opened and pulled history down. There are no towering walls left like in a movie. The power of Ubar is quieter. Fragments, foundations, artifacts, and the feeling that a story once dismissed as myth had a real place on Earth. Ubar is often associated with Iram of the Pillars, a legendary city mentioned in Islamic tradition and ancient stories. For a long time, many believed it was symbolic or mythical. But in the late 20th century, researchers used satellite imagery to identify ancient caravan routes crossing the desert and converging at a site in Oman. Excavations revealed evidence of a settlement connected to trade, especially the valuable frankincense routes that once made southern Arabia incredibly important. One theory suggests that part of the settlement collapsed because it was built over a limestone cavern or sinkhole weakened by water use. In that sense, the city may not only have been buried by sand, it may have literally fallen into the ground beneath it. Ubar matters because it shows how legends can preserve memories of real places. A story passed through generations may sound impossible, but sometimes it is a distorted echo of something that truly happened. It also shows the power of modern technology. A lost desert city that could not be found from the ground was traced from space. But Ubar was rediscovered through satellite clues. The next forgotten place is so visually overwhelming that it became one of the most famous ancient desert cities on Earth. From the empty quarter of Oman, we travel to Jordan, where a city was carved directly into rose-colored cliffs. Number 2. Petra, Jordan. Petra was not built on the desert. It was carved into the desert itself. A narrow canyon twists through red sandstone walls. The passage is dark, tight, and silent. Then, as the path turns, a massive facade appears between the cliffs. Columns, carvings, and stone glowing pink in the sunlight. This is Al-Khazneh, the treasury, one of the most iconic entrances to any ancient city on Earth. But Petra is far more than one building. Tombs, temples, stairways, chambers, and monuments stretch through the rock like an entire civilization hidden inside a mountain. Petra was the capital of the Nabataean kingdom, a wealthy trading civilization that controlled routes linking Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean world. The Nabataeans were masters of desert survival. They built channels, cisterns, and water systems that allowed a major city to thrive in an environment where water was rare and precious. Over time, trade routes changed, earthquakes damaged the city, and Petra faded from the wider world's attention. Local Bedouin communities knew the place, but to the west, it became almost forgotten until the early 19th century. Petra contains hundreds of carved structures. Many people only recognize the treasury, but the site includes a huge theater, royal tombs, temples, houses, and a massive monastery carved high into the cliffs. In 1812, the Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt reached Petra while traveling under an assumed identity. His account introduced the city to Western scholarship and helped bring global attention to one of the most extraordinary archaeological sites in the world. But Petra's real story belongs to the Nabataeans. They turned cliffs into architecture and scarcity into survival. They made the desert not just livable, but magnificent. Petra is nearly impossible to beat. But number one is even more haunting because it is not only a forgotten place in the desert, it is a forgotten world where an entire ancient civilization left behind temples, tombs, and warnings in stone. For number one, we stay in the desert, but travel to a place where human ambition, sacred architecture, and silence collide on an enormous scale. Number one is Mada'in Saleh, also known as Hegra, a forgotten desert city of monumental tombs carved into the sandstone of northwestern Saudi Arabia. Imagine a vast desert plain scattered with giant sandstone outcrops. The sky is wide, the air is dry, the silence feels ancient. Then, carved into the cliffs, massive facades appear. Doorways, columns, steps, inscriptions, and tomb entrances cut into solid rock. Some monuments stand alone, rising from the sand like stone ships. Others are carved into cliffs that glow gold and red at sunrise. There are no crowds in your imagination, no city noise, no modern skyline, just desert, rock, and the remains of people who believed their dead deserved eternity. Mada'in Saleh was once an important city of the Nabataean civilization, the same culture that created Petra. It sat along ancient trade routes where caravans moved incense, spices, and valuable goods through Arabia. Like Petra, Hegra shows the Nabataeans' incredible ability to combine architecture, trade, water management, and desert survival. But unlike Petra, it remained far less known internationally for a long time. Its tombs, wells, inscriptions, and ruins reveal a society that was sophisticated, wealthy, and deeply connected to the desert roots of the ancient world. The city was not forgotten because it lacked importance. It was forgotten because geography, time, religion, politics, and isolation kept it away from global attention for centuries. One of the most striking details is the scale and preservation of the tombs. Many facades still look sharp, elegant, and deliberate, as if the builders left only yesterday. Inscriptions on some tombs identify owners, families, legal warnings, and social status. That makes the site feel personal. These were not anonymous ruins. These were places made for real people who had names, families, wealth, fears, and hopes for what came after death. Mada'in Saleh matters because it changes how many people imagine the ancient desert world. The desert was not empty. It was crossed by roads, wealth, belief, politics, and culture. It contained cities that could rival the imagination of any empire. It also matters because it helps complete the story of the Nabataeans. Petra may be more famous, but Hegra proves that their genius was not limited to one city. Their world stretched across deserts, and their architecture turned rock into memory. Mada'in Saleh earns the #1 spot because it feels like a message carved against oblivion. The people who lived here knew the desert was powerful. They knew wind could erase tracks, sand could cover roads, and empires could vanish. So they carved their presence into stone. And for centuries, the desert kept their city quiet, not destroyed, not erased, just hidden, waiting for the world to look again. The desert is often described as empty, but the places on this list prove the opposite. Deserts are full of memory. They hide villages swallowed by sand, towns abandoned after diamonds and minerals disappeared, ships stranded where seas once existed. Cursed ruins, lost trade cities, and stone monuments carved by civilizations that refuse to be forgotten. Which forgotten desert place shocked you the most? Would you visit Petra, Ubar, Kolmanskop, Kuldhara, or Mada'in Saleh? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy documentary-style rankings about lost cities, ancient mysteries, forgotten places, and Earth's most unbelievable landscapes, subscribe for more. In the next video, we'll explore ancient structures that still leave scientists with more questions than answers.